Blackisms and Weight Watchers.
On this episode of Simply Necessary Conversation.
So we know February is the time of love and romance and hearts and pink and all of that, but it's also Black History Month. So we thought we'd kick off this episode for trending topics of talking about some of the most popular Blackisms, or just things that are very culturally relevant, or things that like all Black people kind of have a consensus on. Like, you got to know, you must do.
Things that you must know in order to keep your Black card.
Yeah, exactly. Good, concise way of putting it, because I was rambling.
Yeah.
You have to agree with that, okay? So what is something that you think is very like all Black people do, know, say?
Okay, so we don't get dragged. There's no such thing as all. We're just being
Black
general.
people are not a monolith, but y'all get my point.
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah. Well, my favorite, Pitney, no, call me by my first name. You do not address an adult Black person by their first name if you are considered to be a child. And when I say child, I'm going to define that as someone that they could have either help raise, or they've known you since you were a little kid. Like, if you are in any way considered to be a child in their eyes, you do not address them by their first name without putting the proper title in front. It's either Mrs. if they're married, Miss if they're not married, and always Mr. Like, yeah, do not call a Black person.
I've had a couple of my friends like reference their parents. They're just like, oh, you can call her Susan.
No, ma'am, you can't.
I can't.
I didn't raise you to be a fool.
If anything, like, I'll like Trapora's mom, like, I'll say Amma, which means mom. Like, I'll call the friend's parents mom.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say like, oh, like your first name.
Yeah. Like, well, like my friend Karen, her Aunt Katie, just automatically I refer to her as Aunt Katie, because I definitely would never call her by her first name. If I did anything other than Aunt Katie, it would be Miss Katie or Miss whatever her last name is. I'm not even sure if I know Aunt Katie's last name or knew her last name, but yeah, you got to put a title on that, put some respect on their name. You do not call adults by their first name if they are old enough to have changed their diapers. Like, no, ma'am.
And I think it's a Southern thing, too, because it's just automatic for me. I'm going to say yes, ma'am, no, sir. Yeah. Like, all of that is just like a blanket.
Yeah, and whatever. I wasn't even raised big on the yes, ma'am, no, ma'am thing. I did it out of respect for people that, like, didn't know me. My dad was one of the rare people that was like, you ain't got to do that. You ain't got to do that. But my mom was the complete opposite. She was raised, she better do that. So we kind of always fell in the middle. If it was someone that seemed to want that type of addressing, we did. If it was somebody that was chilling and it didn't matter, maybe not so much. The only time that you would hear me refer to an adult or one of my mom's friends by their first name is if I'm referencing them to her. Like, if they called, see their name on the caller ID, so-and-so is calling. Like, I'm not calling about, but to them, to address them, nah.
One of the biggest adjustments for me going into corporate America post-grad, and even like being in college, but less so in college, but like getting a big girl job, was the fact that a lot of my coworkers, a lot of my work friends are much older than me, and I call them by their first name and kiki with them like they are like, my contemporaries.
Yeah, and it's a Blackism in that when on occasion when I've done that to a white person that wasn't that much older than me, if they weren't significantly older than me, they get offended. Like, they felt like that was me aging them or calling them old. But it's like, no, in the Black community, you do not call an adult if they consider you a child by their first name. It's disrespectful.
I guess I'm at the age now where like little kids will do that to me, and I just be like, well, baby, I'm 21. You don't have to yes ma'am, no sir me, because I'm still young. I'm a kid too.
It takes getting used to. I'm old, good and old. Like, I'm clearly middle age, if not older than middle age.
I think you're a little older than middle age.
I was gonna say, if not older than middle age, and it still kind of jars me sometimes. Not when young people do it, but when someone that I perceive to be an adult, but they're still younger than me, and they call like somebody in their 30s saying yes ma'am. I'm kind of like, but then I think to myself, it makes
young
sense
enough to be your kid.
Yeah, it makes sense. I guess I'm a little bit delulu when it comes to how old I actually am. But yeah, one of the number one Blackisms: do not call adults by their first name.
I think another one that my Black card is finna get revoked on, because I don't know how to do it, but like, it's a thing that everybody knows how to do. I just don't know how to do it. Playing spades. I do not act like I was shown how to, and I still don't understand what's going on.
Yeah. Like, I used to be able to. I haven't played in literally years, But if I got in, like if somebody needed an extra and pulled me into a game, I get back into the swing
I
of
was
it.
there sitting there looking lost.
Yeah, honey, it's serious.
And
it's very
and people
serious.
get spades and dominoes and Uno in the
Yes,
black
ma'am.
community.
Yes,
it
ma'am.
all gets very serious. Now, I got you on a game of Uno. Like, send your best hitter for a game of Uno. I got that. But spades, I'm lost on it. And I also, another one, roller skating. Cannot roller skate.
Okay.
I'm very uncoordinated.
Yeah.
I have tried. I can stay up on the skates now, and I cannot fall. That's all I got for you. I can't be doing those tricks and the couple skate and all of that. Like, I can't do that.
I can't do tricks, but I can skate. I grew up skating, so I can skate. I used to be able to
teach me how to.
I used to be able to go backwards a little bit. I wouldn't try that now because I need both my arms. But yeah, I can roller skate because that was a must do as a kid.
I wasn't taught.
Yeah, but going to the skating rink and skating to the music, that's a very.
I always see it on TikTok, like it's always trending on TikTok, and I'd be so jealous. I'm just like, I can never go to the roller rink with my man and look cute because now I look a fool.
But with some practice, you could do it. You could do it. I mean, but you can do the other blackisms. You can do you can do the Cupid shuffle. You can do.
That's just basic. Everybody can do that.
Yeah, but you better know how. And don't go out on the floor if you don't know how. Messing stuff up.
I feel like as a black person, or really anybody, like Gen Z in general, but as a black person, if you don't know how to do an electric slide, where have you been?
Yeah, when my generation, it was the electric slide, and then somewhere in there the Cupid shuffle came in, and then the wobble.
There's another one.
You can't do those three. You got to be able to do those. Don't go to the wedding or any type of picnic or whatever.
There's another one that I did in college, but I don't know the name of it. I just know the dance that I was shown, and I was like, oh, I ain't never seen this before. This is new. And then there's also something called the Miami slide.
I can't do that one.
There was too much floor work involved.
Yeah, too much footwork, too many steps.
I don't have the mega knees, okay? I'm young, but I'm not that flexible. I can't be going down and coming back up and doing all that. I left that to the pros.
Yeah, I don't do ups. I do downs. Sit down, get down. Yeah, I'm doing downs. I'm not doing ups right now. No sit-ups or pull-ups or any of that stuff. No.
Well, on to more black news for Black History Month. But let me put y'all on this time. I'm going to talk about Samara Joy, who I would tell y'all to not only listen to her music, but also to look at her live performances too, because her live performances are really good. But if you are a jazz person, if you like kind of the smooth jazz, the chill vibes, someone that just has a nice voice, you can tell that she's been classically trained to be a singer. It's not she has a certain type of tone with it. Mm-hmm. She's only 24. I saw her go viral on TikTok, and from then on, I've just seen her be super successful in the jazz scene. I'm a big jazz girly. I'm not going to play the song because I do not want to get copyrighted. But if y'all look up Samara Joy, I will hear what.
Okay, are you saying Samara or Tamara?
Samara.
Okay.
With an S. Samara.
All right. Have you played her in the house?
Probably not. I don't really play jazz music in the house.
Okay. I
usually listen to jazz while I'm writing or while I'm getting dressed or while I'm asleep. I have jazz time.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to listen to her and see what I think about.
But she's done she does covers sometimes. She's done a couple covers that I've heard, and she also has a original jazz album, which I'm glad that jazz is coming back, because I feel like jazz is a dying art in the black community. Past the Harlem Renaissance, who are we talking about for jazz things?
There's a couple people. But not a.
I can't think
not
of a modern day jazz artist right now.
There's the one guy, and I can't think of his name. It'll come to me later. But yeah,
what song does he sing?
He doesn't he's a pianist.
John Baptiste.
I think that's who I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's jazz.
Yeah, him.
He did. I believe he was the musical person behind the movie Soul for Pixar.
Okay, yeah, that is who I'm talking about. Yeah, him. Yeah. So you got him. I mean,
I want to say that him and her have collaborated, but that could just be my wishful thinking. They should if they haven't.
Okay.
But yeah, so y'all look her up if y'all like a little jazz tunes. But what had happened was JT, half of the City Girls. Mm-hmm. Everyone should know who JT is, aka Lil Uzi Vert's girlfriend. Everyone knows who JT is. She tweeted the other day, telling someone they getting skinny or big is insulting. Just say you look good or something in that area. So my question is like, is it insulting for someone? I know obviously like everyone agrees it's insulting to call somebody big, but is it insulting to call somebody skinny?
Some people get offended by it. Like, there are some people that would hug you and kiss you on the mouth if you said they were skinny because, like, they want to be skinny.
Yeah.
But then if that's something that they battle with all their life, then maybe not so much. It's probably best just not to comment on somebody's size either way just to be safe. But you definitely, I know without a shadow of a doubt, don't want to tell somebody that they're big. Like mind your business.
I just feel like in general we should not be commenting on something. Now, unless they're posting a workout video, a health regimen, they want, like, if it's obvious that somebody wants you to comment on, like, oh, like you gained weight, yay. Oh, you lost weight, yay. Why are we talking about people's bodies?
Yeah,
like, that ain't none of your business.
Twice I've had friends on 2 occasions that lost significant amounts of weight, and I didn't comment on it because I didn't want to comment on like this conversation we're having right now. And when somebody else said something in one case, somebody else said something to them in my presence, and they got excited. I was like, yeah, thank you. I was like, well, I noticed too, but I just didn't want to say anything. They were like, I wish you would have, because whatever. And then like my friend Brittany, one time we had worked and then went home for the summer when we were teaching, came back and she had lost a lot of weight, and I noticed it. But I didn't want to say anything because I didn't know if if it would bother her. And then when it finally did come out somehow serendipitously, I don't know how it came out, but she was like, I didn't know, like, you didn't say anything. I didn't think, I was like, I noticed, and you look really good, but I didn't want to say anything because sometimes if you say something about someone losing weight, it implies that you were judging them as being too big before the weight loss. So like, you just never know how to deal with that.
I steered clear of it when I was little. Everybody, oh, she's so skinny, and I'm just like, I'm eating. I'm not anorexic. Leave me alone. But I like now. If you want to say that I look thick,
oh my gosh,
go right ahead. Like, I'm really Megan Thee Stallion out here. Like,
girl, please, Megan Thee Stallion light. You know good well you not.
I can think I have a hourglass shape, okay?
Well, you can have hourglass shape, but you're not Megan Thee Stallion.
That's
thick.
my goals.
Okay.
But if you want to call me thick, feel free.
I don't think I want to be called thick because I'm like.
It's just, I feel like it's because all my childhood people were like, oh, you're so skinny, you're so
and
skinny.
And see, that's where it is. You want.
I wanted the thickness. I wanted the extra weight because everybody was calling me skinny for so long.
Nah, I don't need you calling me thick. I put on my jeans every day, so
but
I know
also,
what's going on.
like,
I don't need you calling me.
I feel like in the Black community specifically, it's always the thing of like, you get called whatever you are, and then it like changes. So like if one day I gain a bunch of weight, people go, ooh, girl, you gained a lot of weight.
Okay,
ooh.
Let's talk about that. When you used to be thin, like everybody knew you for thin, because there at one point in time, once upon a time, long in a galaxy far, far away. I used to be little like you. I wasn't as tall as you, so it didn't look the same. But I was your size, obviously, because you can wear my old clothes. So that's what a lot of people knew. So obviously now there's more of me to love. Like, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't need you making a big deal about the fact that there's so much more of me. Like, what I got, I'm keeping it as tight as I can. But I don't need you to talk about, oh, you used to be, and mind your bit. That's when it crosses the line. Like, if you want to say I look nice, fine, but I don't need you reminding me you used to be and now you're like, nah, that's not how you compliment somebody.
I feel like a good rule of thumb is if it's not something that somebody can change in the matter of 10 minutes, don't comment on it.
Pretty much.
Now, if I see somebody walking out and their hair look a mess, I'm gonna tell you, girl, maybe get you a brush, get you a hair tie.
It depends on how well you know that person. Because you can say that to some people, you can't say it to others.
If they ask me, I'm going to tell
them.
them.
If they ask.
If you ask me,
don't ask if you don't want to know.
You could be a stranger. If you ask me, does this look good and it don't look good, I'm going to tell you, no, it don't look good, but maybe try this. But like, if you're a stranger, no, I'm not going to walk up to you and be like, girl, I can see your track. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But like, if you're my friend and we going somewhere and I don't like the fit, I'm going to tell you. Now, wear whatever you want to wear, Pookie. But I personally would not wear it. So do with that information what you will. But when you're talking about somebody's like physical appearance, You cannot drop 20 pounds in a matter of minutes. You can't gain 20 pounds in a matter of minutes. So there's no point. Like, the only caveat is if you see someone doing unhealthy things.
Yeah. But that's an intervention,
like,
and that's
if you see someone's like abusing alcohol or they're eating too many carbs and like you're worried about their blood sugar, like that's different.
That's different.
And also it matters who's saying that. Like, I feel like in a partnership, like as a couple, I feel like your significant other can tell you if they think that you're doing things that are unhealthy, or even if they don't like your physical appearance, because I feel like that's important. Like, if you meet someone and they look one way and then they start looking another way,
you got to tread lightly though, because there are situations where somebody literally can have a health issue and they can't control it. Like I said, I used to be your size, and I'm not ashamed of the fact that I have a thyroid condition. I blew out my thyroid giving birth to you, like I had postpartum hypothyroidism. So I did at one point in time put on a lot of weight. It was a medical thing. Once I got, the proper prescription, whatever and stuff, it kind of leveled off a little bit. I'm still thicker than what I used to be, but I'm okay with me.
Yeah.
But you don't ever know if it's something that somebody can control or if it's something that they can't control. And so you have to tread lightly. However, you better not let me leave the house looking crazy. Like you better say something. But there's certain people that can say something to me. Well, anybody can say it if they feel like it's constructive and I need to know. But you can say pretty much anything. You can tell me anything. My mom can say stuff to me or whatever. But if you're a stranger or somebody that I don't know, even if you're just a friend, don't get it twisted.
The only people I want to hear from would be like significant other family, or not even family members.
Well, certain family members.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to hear from anybody else. You, because you would be looking out for my health, and significant other because they need to actually be attracted to me.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the only thing that matters.
Yeah. Because, and the bottom line is there's always going to be somebody attracted to you. I tell you all the time, I don't care what you look like. You can feel like you look like I don't know what and go outside and somebody will compliment you or say something to you.
Sometimes it be on your worst days.
It could be your worst day. Look, you feel like you've been dragged through the mud and somebody will see you.
Or like I like to say, roll hard and piece together what?
Well, you've mixed two metaphors. Like,
no,
that's a mix.
That's a phrase.
Trust me, it's a mixture of two. It's a mixture of two idioms. Yeah.
Rode hard and pieced together wet? That is not a mixture of two idioms.
Okay, let me tell you what the idioms are. Roll hard and put up wet is the reference that they make to a horse, because when horses are raced, they sweat. Like, that's the horse. And then dug up and pieced together.
Oh, you sure listen right?
Okay, then. Okay. All right.
Anyway, whoopsies.
All righty then.
Whoopsies.
So, yeah. Did you really just try to argue with someone that has a degree in English and teaches
I have a degree in mass communications. What that mean?
Idioms, baby. That's my specialty. Stay in your lane.
Communication is
Stay in your lane.
So.
Stay in your lane. But anyway, you keep.
I said that so many times.
I've been letting you do it, and I've been meaning.
I said that to other people, and you let me look stupid.
I've been
this
meaning
whole
to correct
time.
you, but you just doubled down on it. I had to address it.
I've been saying this for years on end.
I just recently started hearing you say it, and the first time I heard you say it, I was like, no big deal. Maybe she just like mind slip. I didn't think a big deal, but then you start, and then today it's she gonna keep saying that. Let me correct her. Anyway,
oh my God,
so now
you're just letting me look a complete idiot.
Well, now you know better. Anyway.
Well, I've been educated. I guess my black card is in jeopardy once again, but I was surprised.
That's not a blackism. That's just an ism. So anyway.
Well, ask a Gemini. You are asking me a question this time.
I forgot. What am I asking you?
How did you forget the question you asking me?
I know. I completely forgot what it was. See, this could make the blooper reel.
Here, look. Our script. This is giving very much.
Oh, yeah. I remember now.
Making us look unprofessional.
Yeah, that's on the blooper reel. No, actually, my train of thought was on the whole idiom thing. But anyway, okay. So, Imari.
Yes, mother.
Because this question you could ask me this question, but it would be so irrelevant at this point in my life. Anyway, so if you were involved with someone, let's fast forward 10 years from now. Yes, 10 years from now. Or
maybe not 10 years
maybe
from now. Maybe 5.
Maybe 5. In terms of making a joint decision. Okay, so you're involved with somebody, you're dating them, whatever, you're planning on possibly spending your future with them. Mm-hmm. And either you or they, we're going to let each of you be on a specific side, but one of you really, really, really wants kids, like it's been all your dream all your life, you planned all your life, once you get married, have a significant other, whatever the case may be, you're gonna have kids. The other person absolutely does not want to have kids, wants no parts of kids. Do you think that that would be a reason to end the relationship?
Absolutely.
Okay.
100%. Because
expound on that, please.
I feel like, I mean, I'm like a professor in here.
Okay.
I feel like the number of kids can be something that's worked out. But kids in general, like the concept of having a family is not something that can be worked out. Like, I know one day I want to have children. If he ain't even change his mind, he's like, you can't. I think it's unfair to like force somebody to have a completely different lifestyle than they want to have.
And having kids,
like, we're not talking about a dog. We're not talking about, do you want a big house or a small house? Do you want to live in the city or the country? No, we're talking about like living, breathing human beings that's going to exist forever and ever until hopefully you both die, basically.
I tell people, having a child is a life sentence. It is not something that you can decide you want to not do later. Once you do it, you are in it for life. So that is one of the most serious decisions that you have to make. So, yeah.
So I feel like it's just something that is, first of all, you should be having these conversations early on. Like, it shouldn't get to the point where it's like, oh my God, like I have to break up with the love of my life because of this. Like, but I feel like a lot of people, the mistake that they make is they get into relationships knowing that the other person feels a certain type of way, and they like, oh, well, they're gonna fall in love with me, so they're gonna change their mind. They're just gonna do exactly what they or what I want them to do, and I don't think that's fair. That's very toxic. You should be on the same page. Like, obviously, you're not going to be on the same page about everything, single thing in life.
We'll come back to the kids real quick, but let me just drop in there. Even getting a dog is a big commitment. Don't get a dog if don't force somebody into
That's true.
Co-parent. I hate that because I hate when people say they're pet parent. You know my pet peeve about that. I don't like when people say they're a pet parent. Argue with your mama. Having a pet.
Coming first.
I know we are, but you can put a dog in a crate. You're not putting a kid in a crate. You can leave a dog at home alone. You're not leaving a kid at home alone. So those are just two of the many arguments.
I feel like you can't do something that is going to cause the other person added responsibility that they don't want.
Because they'll become bitter. I'm gonna give you a case in point. Miss Jeannie Mai, when she was married to her first husband. He wanted kids, she did not, and that may have, I don't know those people's business, but that may have contributed to them ending up divorced. She didn't want kids, she didn't want kids. She got with Jeezy, and all of a sudden, because she was in love, she wanted to have a child. And now she's getting a divorce from Jeezy. She still has that child, and the child is very young. Now, if she's a real mother, she's a good mother, she is going to love her child. She's not going to regret having her child. But had she known on the other side of that she was not going to be married to or in a relationship with the father of that child, she may not have wanted to have a child because she was adamant before. She didn't want.
I feel like as a woman, this is my hot take. I feel like as a woman, at the point that you decide to have kids, regardless of whether you're in love with your baby daddy or not, you have to be willing to do it yourself if you have to. And I don't want to sound like super pessimistic or whatever, because like whenever I have kids, obviously I'm going to be in love with whoever my child's father is. But like I'm not going to go into it which I guess is kind of a bad thing to think, but I'm not going to automatically be like, yeah, like I'm never going to have to not do my part. Like, no, I feel like and even as a guy, I feel like you should go into it because you don't even know. Like, it doesn't have to be something that the other person did wrong. They could die or something.
Something could happen to them, and you got to be willing.
And you
to
have to be able to do, or they could have some type of injury that don't allow them to be able to care for the kid as much as you can, or they could lose their job. So then you have to be the main financial support for your family at a like you have to do it, especially as a woman. Like, and then you have 9 months of being pregnant, of not being able to do crap. Then you have to have the baby. Then you might have postpartum. Then after you got a baby, you got to raise a child. Then they got to go to college. Then they got to get married. Like, it's just, there's a whole lot that goes into it. So I feel like nobody should have a kid before they are ready to have a kid and they're ready to have full responsibility if something happens to the other person involved.
Yeah, they both need to be aware of that. But let me tell y'all young ladies something. Let me tell all the young ladies, having a child is a chicken pig situation.
Right?
Let me explain. Just imagine chicken and a pig decide, you know what? Farmer John has been great to us. Wouldn't it be nice if we gave him a wonderful breakfast in the morning? Well, the chicken just squats, drops an egg, and the chicken is done. The pig's contribution to the breakfast for Farmer John is a little bit different. So having a baby from a female perspective is a chicken pig situation in that once the sperm has hit that egg and fertilized it, and now that child is growing and eventually you're going to give birth to them, it's a lot more work in most cases. I'm generalizing right now, I know. It's a lot more work for the female than the male. First of all, your body. You're putting your body on the line. I was told, and I don't know for certain that it's true, that giving birth to a baby is the closest that you will come to dying without actually dying. Because, like, based on personal experience, honey, you out there with all your glory and all the stuff that happens during the delivery room, I believe that you come close to death without dying. So you physically you have to put more into the situation. Once the baby gets here, depending on your choices, your decisions, in my case, I chose to breastfeed. I breastfed for 2 years. You did not leave me because I couldn't pump. Like, I was one of those people that couldn't pump. I could not produce milk unless you were, attached to me. So that meant for almost 2 years, for the most part, well, the first 6 months, definitely most of that first year where I exclusively breastfed for 6 months. And then I mainly breastfed and did baby food for that first year because I was one of those people. You had to be with me all the time because I could not pump. That wasn't something that I foresaw when I decided to breastfeed, even when I first, decided to have a baby. That's why when he said, let's go half on a baby, I did not agree to go half on a baby until I knew I was ready for a baby. And then even once the parenting started, I guess a lot of it was because you're female. I was the one that spent most of the time parenting.
Though, with that being said, with going into it, being fully prepared to take full responsibility in case something bad happens, whatever. I think it needs to be more of a requirement from women for men to actually do their part. First of all, a man that deserves a child is a man that it should have exhibited the signs of willing to do their part. Mm-hmm. At no point should it seem like, I want to have a baby here.
Yeah,
go.
Like, because they very much will
there should
do
be
that.
some vocalization of like, me and you will do that with the baby. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it's on women to not, especially I feel like older black women have a tendency to be like, it's a baby. The man is incapable. He can't do no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You can change a diaper. You can make a bottle. You can rock the baby. Like, you can do everything that I can do. Shy of giving birth and breastfeeding said child, you can do everything that I can do. So I feel like that's where you need to, as women, you gotta pick good partners.
Yeah,
like you don't be having babies with just any random.
Yeah, you definitely, because that matters. That matters a lot. I'm divorced, so obviously things didn't go perfectly, but I will give him credit that he was all in on me being available to you. So like, I didn't work until you.
But even with that, I will say, I feel like, I don't want to say that's an easy cop-out, but it's easy to be like, you go take care of the baby and I got this.
It kind of was that. It was a little bit of that. And then I will also say, this is a whole nother show. We'll talk about this on another show. But there's also, I don't think this was the case in my situation, but there is such a thing as men purposely punishing women with a baby. Like, there are men out there that will either be angry with a partner that they've been with and want to like,
lock them down,
keep them from being able to go on and enjoy their life separate from them, so they'll intentionally impregnate them. There's also situations where I joked about, mostly joking about the fact that he didn't need GPS, he had EPS. Because all he had to do was, especially once you got old enough to like answer the phone, call you and ask, well, where's your mom? What's she doing? Whatever stuff. So in a roundabout way, I think sometimes men want you to have a baby so that you have something to occupy you to, keep you off of what they're doing. So be careful and mindful of that. In my case, I chose not to have a baby for the first 10 years of my marriage. And then when I had a baby, I knew full well I may have to take on full responsibility for this child.
And then you did.
I didn't quite have to do it for the formative years, but pretty much I did most of the parenting in the house. And, obviously I did a good job because look at there. Look at you. Like, whatever. But he did,
But something that I feel like I
learned
learned from y'all's marriage and my childhood is that I need a present partner because I'm not going to do all that by myself.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do all that by myself.
Yeah, I didn't.
We don't have to have no
it's
baby
no
if you don't want a
secret.
baby.
We've had the conversation. I didn't want a girl. I didn't want a girl because the hair. Like I knew the hair was going to be ridiculous.
I mean, I'm not gonna say I don't want a girl in the future, but like I think it would be easier if I just had a boy.
Yeah, honey, you were a boy in my mind. You were a boy in my mind, honey. I had it all planned out. You were a boy. I had made up my mind. Everybody was referencing you as a boy. And when the doctor, because he wanted to know the gender, even though I said let it be a surprise, but I knew if they told him, he was gonna slip and tell me that I was gonna be mad. It was gonna be a thing. So it's like if you tell him, just tell me. When that doctor said it's a girl, he might well have told me I was having a litter of kittens. I was like, excuse me, what, sir? Like, what do you mean? Whose baby is that? Because I'm having a boy.
In a weird way, I've always envisioned having a little mini me of like, oh, like she's going to look like me and act like me and talk like whatever. But also, I'm just like, I'm a lot. I get on my own nerves.
What you say?
So if I have a kid and she acts just like me,
and Houston, she will.
Houston, we have a problem.
She will.
Because I'm going to have to be like, girl, shut up.
Yeah, because very many a times I have had to just go ahead and bite my tongue because you're doing stuff and I want to send you back to Jesus. And then I think to myself, you know what? This is punishment for how I acted with my mom. I'm sorry. But Imari is paying me back. You don't have to, like, you didn't have to do Yeah, because there are plenty of
Because I feel
times.
like we have a very identical personality and we both talk a lot. Mm-hmm. So it just...
Yeah, I told a lady at work the other day, I gave birth to my twins. Sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad. But yeah, I wanted
just
a boy because I wanted to
God.
send the little boy outside with his daddy. But God had other plans.
I feel like I would do a really good job of raising a black man now. I feel like I would do a really good job of making sure like he don't turn out to be a bum.
Yeah, because you would make sure he's not toxic and
like
you're not
finna have no toxic masculinity. You're not finna be no scrub. You're finna know how to treat women. You're finna know how to like be yourself, be confident. Like I would eat down. You know?
Yeah. I think you would do a good job.
But I feel like I would do a good job with a girl
either way.
I feel like I've tried to have my life path be a good example for my future daughter of like how I would want her to conduct herself.
Yeah, there are very few people in the world, almost none, that I would say that I'm actually jealous of, but I'm actually jealous of you because I know who you are, I know what you're about, but then the jealousy is not necessarily real because
it's because of you.
I raised you. So you're one of the few people in the world, and I'm glad to be able to be a mom, to be that proud of my child. You're probably the only female in the world that I am actually literally jealous of because I see your potential, I see all of your capability. Like, the rest of these heifers, I ain't thinking about them. But if I could trade places with you, would I? Heck to the yeah.
Well, that's nice to know. I'm glad I made you proud.
Yes, you have.
Through my life. But Gemini Jen, to round this all out.
You go first.
Okay, let me get my facts.
I'm complimenting your Gemini.
Let me get my facts correct. Because I don't want to lie. But a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people know this, but they don't know what I'm about to say after I say this. I was an Africana Studies major or minor, so I learned a lot about African history, and I like learning about African history and
it's Black History Month, so we're gonna give you some.
So we're gonna give you some drops of information. So in Africa, there is over 3,000 languages, and in Nigeria alone, there's over 500 languages. And I feel like when a lot of people think about Africa, they think about it in this very monolithic way of all Africans are this culture, they act like this, they think like this. But there's so many other different subsections of African culture. Like I feel like it's even more diverse in a way than American culture is just not recognized because everything is like by a Eurocentric standard and Eurocentric models, so nobody thinks about it. But like you got to think 3,000 different dialects in one continent is crazy.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think about it in terms of the United States, every state has its own culture. Like Floridians are very different from New Yorkers and very different from people.
And in a certain type of way, we have different languages too.
So like, just think, and one of the reasons why Africa is so much broader and so much bigger in terms of that is because a lot of people don't know this. My little Gemini Gem, when you see maps, most of the time, most of the map makers have portrayed all of the continents similar in size. Like if you look at a map on the United States or North America and Africa and Australia, they tend to look similar in size. But in reality, you can take the United States and sit it inside of Africa at least 3 times. At least 3 times. Africa is at least 3 times the size of the United States, if not more. And one of the reasons that has been done is to minimize the contributions of Africa, to make Africa seem less than.
Or even separating out like countries like Egypt from
Africa.
In a certain type of way, because Egyptians are known for being kind of like the center of civilization and being some of the smartest early thinkers. Or
referenced
whatever.
in the Bible and made major contributions. Egypt people is in North Africa.
I feel like everybody should know Egypt.
They should know, but everybody doesn't necessarily know.
But even like separating that out is quite interesting. Or even how like South Africa is different than Africa because of the colonization that happened. Like it's just it's all a social construct.
They need to know all of the contributions. You know, it was during my lifetime that when Busch Gardens in Tampa first opened, they, you know, it's Africa themed, and they used to refer to it as the dark continent. And then finally somebody woke up and realized we should not be referring to Africa as the dark continent as though it's so mysterious or whatever. It's the cradle of civilization based on a lot of scientific theories and a lot of scientific data. Civilization, human life originated in Africa. And
I don't want to lie, but I think everyone has a certain percentage of African DNA.
African people, I believe, based on some research, are the only ones that carry the DNA for every other race of people. Now, I'm not a scientist, don't come from my neck, but that is a theory that I think I was taught in college, that if you check the DNA of most people, you will find some element of African DNA in it. And if you think about it, dark-skinned people can produce light-skinned people. You don't see too many light-skinned, specifically Caucasian people going to the hospital coming back with babies in different shades.
Somebody got a different baby.
That's a mama's baby, papa's maybe situation right there, y'all. So, so be proud of who you are. That's our Gemini gem, basically.
Those are our Gemini gems. Hopefully y'all have enjoyed this Black History filled episode with a dose of tea on the side. Mm-hmm. But don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Period.